All right. Hey, everybody. Today we have a special guest, Spencer Koze. Spencer is wild. Spencer made over $500,000 last month directly from the insurance industry. Dude's absolutely killing it. How old are you, Spencer?
25.
Insane. Like, he's extremely successful, and he took time out of his day today to be able to provide, this is a Saturday too, to be able to provide value to all you, my viewers, on how you can be successful in the insurance business, and success leaves clues. So without further ado, Spencer, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll take it from there.
Yes, thank you, Justin. So my name is Spencer Koze. Like Justin said, I'm 25 years old. I've currently been in the insurance industry for 5 years and 2 months. I think I started June or July of 2020, and I absolutely love it. I've got no plan B. I plan on building my whole family and future legacy through the insurance industry. It's absolutely changed my life, and I've learned a lot of things from starting as an agent to mastering sales, growing a large team, trying my best to master recruiting. So I feel like whatever questions you have for me, Justin, I should be able to help people that are watching, whether they're brand new or even been in the industry for a little while.
Perfect. So let me ask you this, Spencer. How did you get started in life insurance to begin with?
I was a super bad high school student. Like, my average GPA throughout the 4 years of high school was a 1.8.
Wow.
And I really liked playing sports, but I couldn't play sports because at our school, you needed to have a 2.0. So going to college for sports was completely out of the picture because I couldn't even play sports, truthfully. And then going to actual real college was also out of the picture because I didn't even have good enough grades to get into a real college. So basically, in high school, I wanted to make a lot of money. I had no idea how I would do it. And I also didn't know anybody in my hometown with a lot of money. I come from a small town where people don't have a lot of bread whatsoever. So coming out of high school, the person that I knew making the most money was my younger cousin, who ran a car detailing business and would just go door to door and tell people, hey, I'll clean your car for money. So I was like, whatever, I'll do that. So that's what I was doing coming out of high school. I was also attending community college at the time, but I was going door to door, passing out flyers. I had a vacuum and I had a laundry basket with like a couple different rags, vacuum, soap. And I was making cash detailing people's cars door to door. But it was obviously not that much cash. It was just more than you would make at a typical job. And then my parents basically told me I needed to get a real job because that wasn't something that I could do long term. They said I needed something that I could put on my resume and get recommendations. So I started working at GNC selling supplements as I was going to community college. It was absolutely miserable. I was making like $200 a week, if that. But my cousin, who was in the insurance industry, my other cousin, he was brand new in the insurance industry. He would come into GNC and be like, yo, check this out. I just made $3,000 last week. And it's like my first week in the industry. And I'm like, seems too good to be true. So I kind of pushed it off. And he would continue to come into GNC every day in the middle of the day. And I was thinking, okay, this dude's making a lot of money consistently. But also, it's pretty cool that he's got the flexibility in his schedule to just hit GNC in the middle of the day, grab a pre-workout, hit the gym for 2 hours in the afternoon, and then go back to work and make his own schedule and make a bunch of money. So after seeing that week after week, it started to pique my interest, but I put it off for a whole year because it just seemed too good to be true. I'm like, this dude's got to be scamming people or something. And then after a year, he shows me his 1099. He made like $120K his first year, which is way more money than anybody I knew in my hometown. So I was hating community college with a passion, but also super hesitant on getting into the industry just because everyone around me was telling me there's no way someone can make $100K their first year out of college in a job that doesn't require a resume. They're saying it's too good to be true. If it was like that, everybody would be doing it. This is what like my parents are telling me. So I'm like, I really want to do it, but everyone I know is telling me not to do it. It's too good to be true, blah, blah, blah. I'm a Christian. So I'm like, let me just pray about it and see what happens. So I was a year and a half into community college. This is a long answer, but I was 19 years old and I was totally done with school. I hated it so much, couldn't ever get above a 2.0 no matter how hard I tried. It just wasn't for me. So I was already committed to dropping out, even though my parents said absolutely not. So I was internally, I'm like, I'm done with school. I hate college. So then I was thinking I'm either going to go attempt to be a Navy SEAL because I never wanted to be average. I hate the thought of being average. So I'm like, I could just go be a Navy SEAL because that would at least be cool. Maybe I won't be rich, but at least it's still not an average Joe. Or I could go work with my cousin in the insurance industry who's been trying to recruit me for a year and a half. Even though I think he's lying, I was like, I'm going to find out what he's actually doing and do it anyway because I just want to make money, and he's clearly got money. And as I'm praying, the Holy Spirit basically tells me, hey, insurance industry is where you need to go. That's where you're going to find your purpose. So just do that. So then just immediately I made the decision, okay, I'm just going to go into the insurance industry and trust what I feel is being told to me and see how it goes. And still, I didn't believe that he was selling life insurance, making this much money. I was telling him like, yo, I'm in because I know you make money. And I'm like, you can tell me what we're actually doing because I'm down no matter what it is. He's like, I'm telling you, we're selling life insurance. I'm like, bro, you don't have to lie to me. Like, I'm coming. You can tell me what it is. And he's like, it's life insurance. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Dude, I love that answer. That's so good. And I love the story in the background. There's so many points I can relate to on that. Like I come from a little town too, where like no one makes any money and you got to go to school or or learn a trade. Like those are the only two options. And like the financial advice, I love my parents, but the financial advice they gave me wasn't like what would end up making me a ton of money. And it was like same thing when I got into this business. And like half my family is like doctors or like scientists and stuff. So they're like, well, what are you going to do when you grow up? And I'm like, and now they don't understand because of the other money that could come from it. But, super cool, man. And like what this just goes to show too is guys, like it doesn't matter what you did, where you're from, like what you've been exposed to, what's your background, how smart you think you are. Don't believe all the hype because Spencer's a genius, but he just needed an avenue to pour that into. And specialized knowledge applied in the right direction with strong faith that, hey, this is going to work out and I'm doing the right thing is going to lead you all to success. And it's wild you say it because the other day there's a thing in business that I have to analyze the decision that I'm looking to make. And I was praying on it and I started an audiobook. In the first line of the audiobook, I listen to personal development and fantasy novels. It was a fantasy novel. The first line was about what I was like praying about. So I was like, oh, it like gave me my answer. I was like, oh my God, the timing was too good for it to not be like the message. It was most people get into insurance. It's challenging, right? It's a grind. It's overwhelming. You got to learn the products. You got to learn the applications. You take your pre-license exam and selling is nothing like the exam. No one cares about the free look period, like they do, but like it's not as like much of a thing.
Yeah.
So was there a turning point early in your career when you were like, okay, I can crush this. Like I can do this at a high level. Like when did that click?
So I would say when I was studying before I started with the company, the pre-licensing exam and study courses kind of had me worried a little bit because I'm like, this is reminding me of college. Like these are big, fancy words. There's a lot to know. And then I'm starting to think like this could be hard because I hate schooling. I failed that test 4 times. I took a different course, not the one you work with.
You're cool.
But I was overwhelmed. Then when I finally passed and got into the training with my company, it's like none of that stuff ever has been brought up ever since. The company I work for, it's very simple. And on the first day of training, they're like, hey, we've got good news. The way we sell is we make everything so simple to explain that a second grader could understand what we're selling. Perfect. And it was like, just learn how to explain term coverage, learn how to explain whole life coverage. And then we show them options and let them pick whatever makes sense for them. So thank God it was super simple. Like I studied our script and had it memorized within like a day. And the turning point for me is I'm super competitive and I'm always like, if someone else can do it, so can I. Anything. If I can see one person can do it, then I know I can do it too. I came into our company and we have a weekly agency meeting where they go over the top 20 producers from last week and how much money they made and they have them speak. And I came in and there was like 23-year-olds. It was like, this kid made 17 grand last week. This kid made 10 grand. This kid made 5 grand. And I came in wanting to make 2 grand a week. I'm like, if I can make 100K a year, I'll be successful. So I sized them up and, I'm competitive. I believe I've got a really strong work ethic with a good mindset and a good faith and partnership with God. So I'm like, if that kid can make 20 grand a week, that's very encouraging because that means I could at least do double that. So week 1, as soon as I saw other people doing it, that was a big turning point for me. And then also I made over 2K a week like my first or second week. And to me, that was like, okay, if I can do that once, that means I'll never make less than 6 figures for the rest of my life, because all it is $2K a week. And I did that my second week here. So that was another turning point where I finally felt the belief of like, this is possible.
Sweet, man. That's awesome. That's super cool. It's like using, and I love your mindset of how seeing other people succeed builds you up. And I can tell that you like seeing other people win because of that. Like you're like, okay, yo, that guy's doing it, I can too. And I found that that's a big separator too between people who end up doing well and maybe have some more challenges. Like if you see someone succeeding and you're like hating on it or like get discouraged because you're like, oh man, that's so much. How could I do that? Like I'm telling you, use that as inspiration and motivation that you can too. If I can find my way, and Spencer's a lot more successful than I am, but if Spencer can find his way and I can find my way doing this, then listen guys, like anybody here can do it. What mindset do you think separates the top earners other than like kind of what we just talked about? Are there any other like mindset traits you think that separate top earners from people who struggle or end up leaving?
I would say mindset, if people come in and they have a plan B. So basically, I think this is the winning mindset. It's, I'm going to figure this out no matter how long it takes. Even if it's 5 years, it doesn't matter. I will not quit. I will figure this out. Whether it's 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, I will figure this out no matter what length of time it takes. That's going to be someone that actually sticks with it. But I see some people come in and they're like, I'm going to try this out for 3 months. And if I can't make it work in 3 months, then I'm going to go back to what I was doing. Or even if it's like, I'm going to try it for a year. And if it doesn't work after a year, then I'll go back to what I'm doing. Those people tend to fail every single time, at least from what I've seen on my team. It has to be like, I'm doing this. And if it doesn't work, I'm okay with being homeless until I figure it out. And it's those people, even though it sounds kind of crazy, that figure it out every time. Because I think, if that's what you're committed to, you're not going to let yourself go homeless. So if it's getting to that point where it's like, I need to make sales, and if I don't make sales, then I'm already committed to like, I'm just going to be homeless because I'm not quitting. You find a whole new gear of work ethic, creativity, just the ability to, I call it the FIO muscle, figure it out, because there's many different ways to make sales. For example, if your leads aren't picking up and you're going to be homeless if you can't make a sale, well, there's a Walmart probably down the street with 1,000 people walking in and out of it every single day. So go sell them a policy if you need to at least get some money in your account until you can figure out the leads.
Love that, man. Figure it out. FIO. And that makes total sense where it's, hey, all in, no plan B. Like this is it. I'm not putting one foot in the water. I'm jumping in all in. And I resonate with the homeless part. Like I was homeless for a while. So for me, when I started in the business, I was like, bro, like the worst that can happen is stuff I've already went through. So I was like, like it wasn't going to happen because I had already hit that bottom. And I was just so pumped to just have this opportunity and be exposed to an opportunity that I could run with. You got to have that mentality, guys. Like, hey, I'm going to do this no matter what, because you have to sacrifice a little bit and growth is uncomfortable. So you might have some challenges when you start in the career where, hey, maybe you're not feeling super confident or have as a fast start as someone else. But as long as you stick with it, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? So if you can just commit, and it's a simple process, which Spencer's going to get into a little bit here. How important is consistency versus talent in the business, like that you've seen?
So from what I've seen, there's a ton of people that do have great talent and they'll have a huge month and then they'll go 2 months where you don't hear their name. They make no sales. And to me, that's probably just an emotional roller coaster. And those people I see always tend to fizzle themselves out of the business. I believe it's because I'm a firm believer the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So it's like the people that start to hit the gym, they're all in, dialed in with their nutrition, posting motivation, hitting the gym early for a month. And then you don't see them for 2 months and they're completely out of shape again, right back to where they started. It's the same thing in business. Like it's cool if you're all in for a month, anybody can go all in for a month, but it might be better to be a little bit less intense if you can't keep it up and just stick with the pace that you can consistently run with. That way your career is like a consistent uphill trajectory, obviously with small bumps up and down on the way, rather than up and then down twice as much as you went up just because of the inconsistency. So I think, consistency is huge for sure.
Cool. What type of habits do you put into your day consistently to help you succeed and inspire others who work with you to succeed?
So I learned this from my mentor, and he taught me that internal growth precedes external growth. I came into our company, a 19-year-old, just turned 20, just an absolute idiot. And he basically told me, look, your results in life right now are a reflection of basically who you are and who I was at the time. Terrible mindset, as in I was a victim. Like I always blamed people for my lack of everything. I was a complainer, jealous, envious, bitter, hater, just low quality mindset and characteristics. I also was not in the best physical shape of my life. I would kind of eat garbage, not really work out too much, which meant my energy was low, and you can't have low energy as a top performer. And also I would go to church just as a routine on Sunday because my parents made me, but I didn't have any real relationship with Jesus at the time. So I didn't actually have faith with God and confidence that comes from having a faith with God, where if Christ is for me, then who could be against me? And I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Therefore, I had no confidence at the time too. So my mentor was like, look, you need to develop yourself mentally, physically, spiritually every single day before you start working to fill your cup up. So that way, when you are working, you're the best version of yourself. And over time, as you continue to grow your mindset, your body, and your spirit, you're going to start attracting what you came here looking for, which was the money. But currently, 20-year-old Spencer is not going to make $1 million a year because it's who, not how. And that version of me was not a millionaire at the time. So something I've done since the day I started and I never miss is my mind, body, spirit routine in the mornings, where I'll read my Bible. I'll spend time in prayer to develop my spirit and my relationship with God. I hit the gym every single day before 8 a.m., guaranteed, never miss. And then also some sort of mental development, whether it's listening to a podcast, watching a YouTube video, learning from other successful people, which like mentorship's a huge thing that changed my life, learning how successful people think. And YouTube is very cool because you can learn for free from people that were once dead broke and are now super, super successful. There's hundreds of videos out there. So I incorporate that every single day too, to make sure my mind's primed up, ready to go for the day. So I'm not negative throughout the day.
I wake up, Instagram, first story, and your stuff motivates me, bro. Like you're one of those mentors and influencers. For me, it helps me. Like I wake up, first thing I see is the highlighted Bible verse from the app, and then the workout, and then the John Maxwell leadership. That's what that is, right? The John Maxwell leadership.
Yeah, the leadership Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like.
Sometimes I don't post the workout because I'll forget to take a picture. But I always tell people, when you see me, you'll know exactly where I've been. I'm in the gym every single day. I don't have to post it. You'll just know. I
mean, I know because I'm like, okay, dude's up at 4 a.m. like reading the Bible. It's just the consistency, right? And same with me. Like I suppose like my workouts and stuff, and I've adjusted some of my times for things, but I'm like not always there. But that consistency builds and it develops. And it's like if you guys want to diet, get in good shape. Workouts are important, but diet is like even more important. So it's like I don't see Spencer's meals every day, but because of the shape he's in, I know the dude's eating well. Yeah. I know I guarantee you got a meal plan, or somewhat of a semblance of one. You have an idea how much protein you're eating, stuff like that. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. And you can actually search his name, Spencer Kozay, on Instagram, and you guys will be able to see what that looks like there. So Spencer, if you had to start over as an agent, knowing what you know now, say you started tomorrow, reset button, what would you do?
I would say the most important thing is finding someone to learn from that has the desired results you're looking for. I was super blessed to just get lucky and stumble upon, in my opinion, one of the best people to learn from in the industry, which is Simon Arias. Because, well, let me back up and be careful when you're learning from someone. What I would look for, this is if I had to start over and knowing what I know now, I would make sure the person that I'm learning from has been doing it for a while. It's not like someone that just started this 6 months ago and they've made a little bit of money, because a lot of people do that. And then in 2 years, they're gone back to dead broke. So I'd look for someone with at least 4 to 5 years of experience, making consistent money more and more every single year. And then not just the money, I'd also make sure they're a good person and look at like, okay, even though they make money, what's their lifestyle like? What's their relationships like? What's this person like overall as a person? Because I'm sure if I would have came in and got placed with a mentor when I was 20 years old and easily malleable, like I just wanted to make money. So if my mentor made a lot of money, but he was at strip clubs every night doing drugs and drinking alcohol, I probably would have ended up doing that because I just wanted to have the money he had. So I'd end up doing what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, my mentor taught me, hey, no drugs and alcohol, personal development, and that's what brings you the money. So that helped me become a better person, which I think has helped me in the long run. So yeah, just basically coming in, if I had to start over, most important thing is who you're learning from, how much money they make, how long they've been doing it, and what's their personality and lifestyle like too.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Whole person. Like someone can make money, but it doesn't mean that they're doing it the right way or they're a good person. And you see sometimes those people self-destruct over time.
Oh, yeah.
Those habits just compound. And I'll see, like Spencer said, how someone does one thing is how they do everything. So if someone's doing something unethical in one area of their life, it's just a matter of time before that kind of bleeds over into other areas of their life too. So really, really important what he just said right there. And that hits the nail on the head, because you're going to see a lot of people who, work with me, you can do this, X, Y, Z, this is what I'm doing. But track record and who that person is, that's huge. So how has the life insurance industry changed, do you think, since when you started? And what opportunities do you see? What new opportunities do you see for new agents today that maybe there have been no changes, but have you seen any changes in from when you started till now?
As far as the industry overall, I mean, right when I started is when things went virtual. So that was a big change. I know life insurance used to be a lot more in-home sales.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot of like over the phone or over Zoom, but that's been for the last 5 years. So that's all I'm used to. I'm just used to the Zoom and phone sales. Industry overall, I don't know if this is something new or if it's always been this way. My mentor told me it's always been this way because he's been doing it for 25 years. But there's just a lot of people that I've noticed that bounce from company to company. And really what happens is they fail at one company, think it's going to be better somewhere else, probably fail there, think it's going to be better somewhere else, fail there. And it's the exact type of person that will never be mega successful. It's a victim that blames everything but themselves, when in reality, they're successful people making millions at basically every single life insurance company out there, whether it's a captive agency, brokerage, doesn't matter what the commission structure is. If someone else can make millions there, which there's people that make millions in every company, that means you can too. And if you decide to quit before you're the person making millions, it was never the company's fault, never the commission structure's fault. It's always that agent's fault. But because they're a victim and a quitter and like to bounce from place to place, they never say, yeah, it was my fault. I should have just locked in and learned from the person killing it. They like to do the blame game and become a blamer and a hater. So what I've seen is there's a ton of people in the industry, and it seems like this is more of a new thing the last 2 years, leave one company, go to a different company, and their whole recruiting strategy is bashing the original company that they came from, hating on them, bashing them, acting like it's better over here. And the way they build their team is they just recruit all the low-hanging fruit from the other company they used to be with.
The haters.
Convince them to quit, which low-hanging fruit's always going to quit when things aren't going their way. And then they bounce. And then there's a whole slew of people out there that hate on me and say Spencer's company sucks, leads this, commission that. Well, how come I can make $500K a month here and you couldn't even make $20K a month here? Is it the company and the commission, or is it your lack of knowledge, your lack of work ethic, your lack of self-accountability? It's always that answer. So what's changed is there's a lot of haters out there, which sometimes makes it difficult for people coming into the industry because haters are loud. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So while I'm just putting in the work, you're never going to see me bashing another company on social media, talking down on other people to attract them to my team. I'm just working and talking about what's good about our team. I don't have to talk crap on other teams, but the loud people on social media are bashing me. So it like sometimes can deceive new people and think, let me go work with this person, which takes me back to make sure you ask the people that are doing that on social media, can I see your bank statements? How long have you been with this new company? What were your results with your last 3 companies? And I mean, the character speaks for itself. I would never work for someone that's a hater. So.
How much did you pay in taxes last year? That's a good question.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't need to know for you, but that's a good question if someone's asking someone, right? Like, is someone gonna be like, look at all this money? And it's like, okay, well, let me see what you got for write-offs. And if they're, how much you had to last minute spend, right? But that's huge. And that's something that may have changed for you as you grow. And it's impossible, guys, to succeed without getting haters. So haters are an indication that you're doing something right. I want everybody here listening to this to know that. Like, I have people who hate on me too. I have whole YouTube videos of people just like bashing me and stuff I do and have stood for and everything else. And it's like, you first, you don't really know me. And second, cool, thanks for the publicity, because I know the real ones will see through it. and they'll go and I don't buy any of that stuff. I'm not really swayed by those things. And whenever I hear someone bashing someone else, I always ask, what's that other person's side? No matter what the case is, right? Like, even if I'm talking to one of my boys and he's like bashing something that, saying, oh, my girlfriend's something, this or that. I'm like, okay, what's her side? Like, I'm always like, what's the other side of the coin? Because there's two sides, right? So, can totally understand that. Sometimes people, to have the biggest house in the neighborhood, they have to knock other people's houses down rather than building up their own. So
I've heard that analogy. That's facts though.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make your house any bigger. Your house stays the same. You're just appearing bigger by tearing everyone else down.
Yeah. And the people who stick to it and are committed, they're going to push through, they're going to shine through. But also, huge point, even if it's a captive agency with one carrier, I've found that those are some of the best places for new agents to start and find success quickly, and especially scale if you want to build a business out of it, because you have one or two, you only have a couple products. The presentation's super easy. It's the same, rather than agents who go in, they want to sell, 15 to 20 different products with all these companies, all these different types of insurance. I mean, there's some people who do have a lot of success with that, but it can be challenging for that too, because there's just such a high learning curve before someone gets going. So it doesn't matter, like I said, whatever someone's doing. Also, make sure where you look, there's multiple people making a lot of money. If you look at a company, be like, okay, dude, I've seen the stats that you guys' company has, how many people make $1 million, 500K, 750, you posted that stuff. And it's like, okay, it's an overwhelming statistic where it's like, dude, the only reason why someone couldn't is because they're just not putting in the work. And that's really what it would come down to. So what type of training and support do you give agents in your company?
So we new training class live, every agents that join our team. And I'm a firm believer in let's only take sales advice from people you would trade places with. So we take all the politics out of it and we look at strict results. So there's two people that have sold the most life insurance with our product, with our carrier, with our script. It's me. I've sold more than anyone on our whole entire team. And it's my buddy, Brian, which means we know how to sell it at a high level and we know what works. So even though we have a lot of other responsibilities, we want to make sure our new agents are learning from the people that have the best results selling. So until someone can sell more than me and Brian still run the training. So Brian runs the first 2 days of live training class. I run the second 2 days. The other cool thing about our company, and thank God for me, because, like I said, studying's never been my thing and complicated things have never been my thing. It's very simple because it's one company and two products that we sell. It's literally a cookie cutter scripted process that we've figured out what works. So in training, we teach you the phone script for how to schedule these leads. And then we have a PowerPoint presentation that they use to sell these leads that's scripted word for word. And it's pretty much, I can't say guaranteed, but guaranteed to sell 1 out of 3 people. So the difference maker is who can sit with the most people per week. It's not who's the best closer, because everyone reads the same script and it closes about 1 out of 3 regardless. The difference maker is who can sit with the most people each week. And that comes down to work ethic, more calls. You're going to sit with more people, which is why the hardest workers always make the most money on our team. But also we teach important thing like rolling referrals. So that's something we teach in training. But let's say I presented to you, Justin. Mm-hmm. I already know you're probably not going to buy because the stats say it's 1 out of 3. But the name of our game is who can meet with the most people each day. So even though you're not buying, I'm looking at you as how can I use you to get me on my next presentation? The way we do that is we collect referrals with a certain way we teach people. And then I would get you to call your referral and see if you can't get them on my Zoom meeting right here, right now. So I go straight from your presentation right into the next. And if you're doing that, you can meet with 9 people a day. That's 3 sales a day, 21 sales a week, and you can be a top producer that way.
That's sick. I literally do the same thing, collecting referrals. So it's cool that you do that. Because I would be get the info and be like, hey, let's get them on the phone right now.
Collecting and rolling. Hey, you're basically turning into my appointment setter for me. I'm like, hey, call them and see if they're free right now. Let's get them on Zoom.
So for every agent watching this, if you're wondering, hey, how are you gonna ever set an appointment, or do you need an appointment setter? Yes, it's your leads. They'll be your appointment setters for you. So what does the first 90 days look like on the phone for a new agent, and what should they shoot for?
So I'm a firm believer in you get what you expect. And if you're thinking and you're expecting it to be hard, then you're going to get small results and it's probably going to be hard. So I teach people, look, it's easy. Truthfully, it's easy. You got to tell yourself it's easy. All you're doing is reading a script. It is easy. And you should make at least $5,000 in premium per week. which in our company will get you paid like 3K a week. So that's 12K a month.
Nice.
So I think like you should expect to make 12K a month your first month, and you should expect it to be easy. The only thing that's not easy is the hours that's required to get those types of results. But the work you're doing in those hours is not hard. You're reading a script. When people say it's hard, it's because a lot of people have a hard time focusing and actually working long, hard hours. But that's the only hard part for us. Everything else is like pretty easy. It's simple.
Awesome.
So
cool.
I would say the first 90 days, expect it to be easy and think big. And then as you get better, you're going to realize I could do a lot more than what I'm currently doing.
Love it. And guys, there's a certain level of effort to once you hit a certain bandwidth of how much effort you're applying, it's easier than if you apply less effort. Like for me personally, I'm speaking for myself. If I apply like average to slightly above average levels of effort to something, it feels like I'm working a lot harder than when I'm like all out, like dialed in, laser focused, like all day obsessed, because then those big results come with it. And it's like, it doesn't even feel like work because you feel like you're winning. So you feel you have so many wins that you're like, oh, this is easy. This is great. I love it. Rather than the agent who's putting in like, part-time or barely doing it. And then they're struggling because they're not getting the results they want. So how does working with your team differ than working with another company or like with your agency? How, like what separates you guys? I know you mentioned some stuff with lead script and stuff like that, but break that down.
So for us, I know the biggest difference between us and like a brokerage is we provide all the leads for free. No agent ever has to spend one penny. I've never spent one penny on leads for me or anyone on my team ever, not one single penny. So that's usually like the biggest difference maker is the leads are free. Other than that, our commission is probably a little bit lower than a lot of brokerages. However, the leads are free. So lower commission, free leads, slightly higher commission, but you have to pay for the leads. At the end of the day, there's pros and cons to both. I know I've made millions with this company. There's other people that have made millions. There's other people that have made millions with the higher percentages, and you have to pay for leads. So I'm a firm believer in any life insurance industry or any life insurance company is good. It's just, are you good? Are you going to work hard? Are you going to learn from the top people? Or are you going to be a victim and blame external circumstances for your lack of success? So I think you can't go wrong either way. I could point out a bunch of things bad about other companies that we do better, but then again, they could point out things that are better there than what we have. But at the end of the day, it's 100% commission. There's people in my company that make over 10 mil a year. So
insane.
So you can too, and so can I. And there's probably people in other companies that do the same exact thing. So you can't go wrong.
Yeah. And guys, just want to let you know, like a big importance of free leads too, when you're starting, I think personally, which is an advantage. And I'm going to speak on this. I think it's an advantage because you have to be frequent before you can be great at something. And if you just go in and you're like, you have a lead order, and a lot of people getting into the business, they don't have large budgets for investing in themselves and in their businesses. You might get like one lead order, and that's your make or break chance to succeed. And if you don't make sales, you're out of money. And if you go somewhere like with like Spencer's agency where they're providing you leads, then you have leads to practice with. It's not like, oh my gosh, make or break. And the thing is, when you're getting leads provided, it's not like you lose money if you don't make the sale. So it's easy to be like, well, this person's probably not going to buy anyway, or easier, this person's not going to buy anyway, I'm going to get referrals. When you have that lead provided to you, this is how my mindset would be. Because if I spent money for that lead, it's like, dude, I just lost this money if I don't make this sale. And it can cause you to sound desperate and be very salesy and like commission breath, it's called, on the phone. Because I've been there. I started and I was buying leads. So like I know the drill. I started just door knocking leads. I didn't even call and set the appointment. I just got the lead. I ran the ads on Facebook, got the lead, went to their house and knocked on the door. And I was like, yo, you filled out this form. Where's the best place to sit? But it's stressful because you're like, hey, I can lose this money. So at least when you have leads provided like that, you can practice and you're like, okay, you're not tripping that you lost all this money if you don't like make that sale on that presentation. Exactly.
I've never thought about it that way. I guess we're spoiled because what we teach people is, look, 1 out of 3 buy, read the script word for word. If it doesn't work, don't even rebuttal them. Like for us, the one person that buys, it's because they want it. We don't even teach rebuttals because when you teach rebuttals, at least for us, now you're coming off pushy and it's less likely that you can roll a referral because they assume you're going to be pushy to their friend. So we teach, don't rebuttal at all. The script sells itself. One person will buy out of 3, but for the 2 that don't, instead of rebuttaling them, point out to them that you didn't rebuttal them and be like, look, notice how I didn't twist your arm whatsoever. I won't twist your friend's arm either. If they buy, that's great. If not, I promise you, just like I did with you, I won't even push back one single time. I just want to show them what we have. have. If it works, great. If not, no big deal. So it helps us roll referrals because the leads are free. We aren't so desperate to sell them. It's more of like, hey, if they buy, great. If not, let's just roll a referral.
Love that. That's so cool. And also too, people could probably use that to recruit. Like, hey, do you feel like what I just did with you is pretty straightforward? Do you think that this is something that would be easy for someone else to do? Just read when I went over. Yeah, cool. Do you know anybody else who you think might be interested in doing this? If they could make $2 or $3 grand a week, maybe $5 to $10 grand a week, and then they could use that as like maybe recruiting just ideas. Cool. So you built a team that consistently produces at a high level. Anything else you can think of that you look for in a new agent other than what we covered, like all in, no plan B, like, hey, I'm committed, I want to be successful? Like, are there any specifics?
I would say we kind of, at least I look at people in 3 different categories: attitude, effort, and natural talent. Most important would be attitude and effort. So if people come in, they've got a positive attitude and they're not super negative, and they put in the work, which would be the effort. Even if their natural sales ability is low, I know over time this person's going to figure it out and be pretty good. On the flip side, if they come in with a super high natural talent, but a bad attitude and a bad effort, then I already know this person's probably not going to last. They're going to self-destruct. They won't be here. I don't care about your talent, because with the attitude and the effort, eventually the talent will come. The perfect recruit has a great attitude, great effort, and they're talented. But at the end of the day, what's most important to me and what I see with our top producers is not natural ability to speak to people or sales talent. It's, do you have a good attitude? Do you have a good effort? If you do, we can work with that, and eventually you'll be successful.
Love that. It's like, I can't train tall in basketball, right? That's how you can equate it to the insurance industry. Like, you're tall or you're not, and it's like, if you're not, then you're going to struggle. The way that is in insurance is good attitude, good work ethic. And one thing I want you guys to see here, I've been tracking this. Spencer has not said like, or through this entire video. And that shows how much he's mastered what he's in, how high his conviction level is, and how certain he is of himself and the confidence he has in himself and his team and his system and what he's doing. Because people who don't have that level of certainty, they're going to use those filler words and stumble, not know what to say next. But it's pretty clear that in seeing this, and it's really motivational and inspirational for me to feel that energy coming through the video like this. And I'm sure there's other people that are going to see it too. So I think that's really cool.
I don't even notice that. But
you pause and then you have good transition. So I think it's really good. So for someone who connects with your story, Spencer, and like with your work ethic, and someone who's like, dude, I am hungry enough to make $500K a month. I don't care what it takes. I will do anything to provide that level of success to myself, my family, the people I love. What are the next steps for someone to connect with you if they want to work with you?
So we have probably right now a couple hundred people a week that applied to join our team. I have people that DM me on Instagram all the time and they want to get on a one-on-one phone call with me. I don't really have the time for that or care to do that, because a lot of people waste my time with that. So I tell people, if you want to talk one-on-one, then join the interview. I run a group interview every Monday at 8 p.m. where we have a bunch of people join. I go over everything that's important to know about the opportunity. If you have additional questions outside of what I go over, it's probably not that important to know. It could wait. If you get selected, you go through pre-licensing, then you get placed on our team. Once you're on our team, everybody can talk to me one-on-one whenever they want. But until then, the opportunity works. So like, I don't need to answer your questions about if this works or whatever. Like, it works. So I'm just trying to see if you're willing to bet on yourself and show up with a good attitude and a good effort. And those are the type of people that I'll actually spend time talking to. But if you're hesitant, fearful, worried, I don't even care to talk to you. I'd rather see someone that takes action and bets on themselves, and then I'll talk to you that way. But it's a group interview every Monday at 8 p.m. The way people schedule is the link in my Instagram bio. So my Instagram, spencer.kozej. You schedule, and yeah, it's Monday at 8 p.m.
Cool. I can also put a link in the description of the video that y'all can click on to schedule directly through the link in the description of the video. Check out Spencer on Instagram. You guys are going to see he's always posting a lot of good stuff, but I can also put the link in the description of the video here to make it a little easier for everybody. And those guys post their checks and their deposits and stuff as proof. Like, he has testimonials on his page too of other people. Keep in mind, that's like no lead cost, right? So if there's someone where there's like lead spend and everything else and all these other like tech tools and everything else that can impact it, this is like clean money deposits where it's just, hey, this is just like the straight net of what's going in there. So it's super cool to see that. And you're changing people's lives. I hope you understand like how many people's lives you're really, not just them, if they have families, you're putting food in their kids' mouths. You're paying for their kids' opportunities in the future. You're taking care of their grandkids with what you're doing now. So I hope you understand the like impact, the legacy that you're leaving behind, even at, 25, man. So it's super cool.
Thank you.
Before we wrap this up here, can you share a story? I'm sure there's so many. You're probably going to be like, who do I start with? But can you share an example of someone in your agency who started as a new agent with like barely any money, other than you, barely any money, barely any sales experience, if not no sales experience at all, who became successful?
Yeah, I've got two, because the first one, people are always like, well, it's Spencer's best friend since kindergarten. He must have got special treatment, which is not the case. But my friend Brian, his Instagram's at Big Brah, BRAH with 3 H's. He's been my best friend since kindergarten. We played sports together. We lived near each other, neighborhood friends, like been my boy since kindergarten. And when I started in the insurance industry in 2020, I wanted to grow a team. And I'm like, oh, this will be the best person to grow a team with. He's my boy. I know he works hard. He's just like me. He's going to crush this. So I tried recruiting him right away. He said, bro, can't believe you'd even try to get me into that pyramid scheme, trying to scam me to make money off me. Basically roasted me, and we didn't really talk for like 2 years because he thought I was like trying to scam him. But then after 2 years, he saw me consistently making money. Eventually, he put his ego to the side and was like, look, I want to come work with you. So he was finishing up college football. He graduated college, started with us 2.5 years ago, moved from Pennsylvania down to Tampa, slept on an air mattress, had like literally no money in his bank account.
Wow.
Drove a beat up, crappy Nissan car. I can't even believe it started. He's made millions since joining, and he bought a Lamborghini Aventador cash, which is pretty sick because those are expensive. He lives in the coolest penthouse in Miami, arguably 52nd floor, floor to ceiling windows, crazy view, hot tub on the balcony. He saves a ton of money. He also, since joining the team, he used to be atheist. He since joined church, got baptized, has given 6 figures to our church. Wow. So that's a very good testimonial. But when I tell that one, people are like, oh, Spencer must have gave him special handouts because he's my best friend.
Nepotism.
I didn't whatsoever. Matter of fact, when he started, I said, look, we're not hanging out. Like, we're not friends. You can't hang out with me on the weekends until you can afford to hang out with me. Because what I do for fun is I go get dinner, and it's going to cost at least $150 to $200 for dinner. You can come when you can pay for yourself. So
love that.
He was locked in working. Like, we weren't even hanging out for his first few months. He was working hard to stack dough and make more money, so he could eventually start hanging out with me. And I never gave him any handouts that anybody else would get. He didn't get extra leads. There's no such thing as special leads. They're all the same script. But he just saw how much it changed my life, and he knew me before I joined. So the one advantage he did have was knowing like this works, because Spencer used to be a broke idiot, and now he's making a bunch of money. And he watched how hard I worked over the last 2 years, because I posted on my Instagram every day what time I was up, what I was doing, when I was working till. So he already understood the grind that it was going to take to be successful. So that is one advantage he had. He got to see it work before he joined from someone he's always known. And then one other one, this kid on my team, Gavin McDonald, he's another 7-figure earner. He's 22 years old. I met him in Tampa off a random Instagram DM like 2.5 years ago. And when I first met him, he was low energy, like not a people person whatsoever, super introverted. He was also a college kid that would go out and party every single weekend, which I don't like that. So I didn't really like him. It was pretty obvious. Like, I didn't really want him talking to me. I'm like, this kid's a scrub. He's going to last 1 month. Yeah. Basically, you can talk to other people and learn from them, but I'm going to spend my time with people with a better attitude, better effort, and a better natural talent. But one thing I can say about Gavin is, since then, he's completely cut off all bad habits. He dropped out of college, cut off drinking for good, got into the gym, got into church, and consistently has been by far the hardest worker consistently throughout the last 2 years, and the most coachable with the best attitude over anyone. Talent-wise, he's not as naturally talented as a lot of people because he's introverted, kind of quiet, but his work ethic, his coachability, and his attitude is probably the best out of anyone, which is why he's now a 7-figure earner and a perfect example of a great attitude with a great effort. Maybe less talent is way more important than coming in with the talent, but a lack of attitude and a lack of effort. So that his name's Gavin McDonald. He's a beast.
Love it. He's like the Tom Brady of your team.
Yeah.
Round draft pick, came in, no one knew who he was. Now he's in there killing it. So it's awesome, man. Spencer, special, huge thanks to you, man. I know with making $500,000 a month, your time is extremely valuable. So the fact that you put this into this video without any compensation or anything like that says a lot, solely to help people out who are looking to get into the industry. If you guys are considering an agency to work with, I strongly encourage reaching out to Spencer, at least scheduling an interview. If it's a good fit, great. If not, like, hey, no worries at all. All you got to do is click the link in the description of the video. And I appreciate everybody for watching this. And don't forget to watch the next video coming up. That'll help you pass your insurance exam on the first try. Thank you.